coming your way right here, right now. This one officially go down as episode number 215. You can get on board the Unfiltered Revolution 24/7, 365. Easy to do. All you got to do is get over to Twitter or X, if you will. Get over into the bio at Casey Still. Jump on the YouTube channel, and right there it'll take you to all 214, now 215 interviews, conversations, guests, lists, rants, and oh my, thank you, Unfiltered Band, and thank all of you for being here with me as we look ahead to a World Series that is halfway full on that dance card now with the Texas Rangers, and a Game 7, yet another Game 7. It's like having two Christmases, having two Game 7s, and we've got them. The next one coming up, of course, Philadelphia tomorrow, as the Phillies will host the Arizona Diamondbacks to see who plays the Rangers in the World Series. We'll get to all of that. And of course, you can always give your comments along the way. Happy to have you on board here, whether you're watching on Twitter, on YouTube, on the channel, or of course, where most of you are, Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get you podcasts. We like to thank, as usual, our good friends at BetOnline for helping present this program. BetOnline, your number one source for all your sports betting needs. This season, the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, basketball, boxing, golf, and much, much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to get your wagers. Live betting and favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head over to the website, use the mobile device, and sign up today. Get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV. Get your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. It is BetOnline, where the game starts as we get started here. And how can you not, with congratulating the Texas Rangers for just, a monumental bounce back at the end of this series to go pluck off two games. 4 they win on the road. They find a way, get 6, and then get 7 in a route that reminded me, and I tweeted this today during the game, reminded me very, very much so of the first postseason that I ever covered in that 2004 run when I was covering the Red Sox in the American League Championship Series. If you go back to that Game 7, obviously we know about the comeback, the Red Sox down 3-0, topsy-turvy, but so much drama in that series, getting you all the way up into Game 7. And then I remember in covering it, everybody was in disbelief because you almost could not believe that the Yankees were going away so quietly. And so much so that I remember being in the Cask and Flagon because my job at the time was to cover the reaction of the crowd during the game. And I remember sitting there in the 7th inning after Damon, whatever inning it was maybe 6th, 7th, whenever it was, he hit the grand slam of Javi Vasquez, made it 10-3. And I remember asking a lot of Red Sox fans, now can you exhale? Now is the time that you're excited. Now is when you're going to jump for joy. And they were like, no, hell no, we're not doing any of that. But it was almost like a disbelief that the Yankees at that time could go away so quietly. And this is kind of reminiscent for me because you never could have picked this to happen. Now, I thought this would be a 7-game series. Yeah, I picked the Astros to win it. If you asked me if I would have been shocked at the beginning of the day or yesterday, or certainly when they had a 2-0 lead in this series, if the Rangers would have won this series, the answer clearly would have been no. No surprise. And I wouldn't have been shocked if they win this game. But to win it in a rout, certainly a big surprise, I think, to everybody. Big surprise. A lot of reasons for it, and I want to go through them, and I want to get a lot on this game, a lot of the series in both these two teams, and talk about the Astros as well plenty. Before we get done, we'll also look ahead to the NLCS in Game 7 as well. Adolis Garcia. Wow. 20 runs driven in, and we haven't even gotten to the World Series, and he's already just one shy of David Freese, probably going to shatter that mark. From a situation where he gets a golden sombrero, and you want to say that, he was woken up, or the whole idea that, it's funny, the Astros were using he woke them up. Now we're talking about they woke him up. Regardless of what happened or in what order, Garcia is a freak of nature. The fact that this guy was passed off twice, once by the Cardinals to the Rangers, then by the Rangers as well, basically left out there on the doorstep, told he wasn't good enough, without much of a shot as a 26-year-old kid, and has become this in this story is just unbelievable. 2 home runs. The guy's a freaking monster. Unbelievable. And it's amazing because of nothing against Yordan Alvarez, and I'm not necessarily comparing the two players, okay? But so much talk towards the first half of the series and really throughout the postseason about Alvarez being a guy who was putting up that David Ortiz kind of a thing where Poppy was carrying the Red Sox those years, and here's Alvarez carrying the Astros. But how about what Garcia has done? Yeah, the tone was set tonight by Seager. Yeah, we've seen obviously what the other guys in the lineup can do. It's what makes him so dangerous when you think about getting it from everybody up and down, from Semien at the top to Garver and Hyman everywhere, right? I mean, Evan Carter and the story he is at 21 years old, and what you've gotten from Mitch Garver throughout the course of this series. And the fact that you are able to, up and down the lineup, trust so many different guys to drive in runs. But it is freaking amazing what Garcia has done. Give the guy a lot of credit. Max Scherzer got you going tonight. I don't know how deep you thought he would go or what you thought he would do, but if you had keep you in a game, if you had give you a chance to win a game, I think you would have taken that. But the star of this game for me, outside of Garcia, who it's hard to get away from, MVP of the ALCS, 2 home runs in this game, 5 in the last 4 games. But to me, if you ask me really what stood out the most, which Texas Ranger stood out the most in this game tonight, it's Jordan Montgomery for me. What the stud that this guy has become, what an amazing story. The Yankees, for whatever reason, trade him to go get Harrison Bader. Nothing against Harrison Bader necessarily, but it didn't make sense. It wasn't like Montgomery was pitching badly because he was not at the time. But what he has turned into for St. Louis, and now in this case in the postseason for Texas, it is unbelievable and otherworldly. To come out of on short rest, which he never pitched before, out of the bullpen in the postseason, never in that spot before, and to give you 2+ scoreless innings the way Montgomery did, I mean, to me, in that spot, got a huge out to get out of a jam in an inning where the Rangers were close, and we watched that score start to get away, but Montgomery's in there at a 4-2 game. Montgomery's in there with the game hanging in the balance, and that is some unbelievable stuff by Jordan Montgomery to see the way he was able to elevate his game in this series and has done so in the postseason. It really is remarkable. It is. And of all the players and all the Seagers and all, and look, Evaldi great in this series too, obviously, again. And Garcia, ad nauseum, we can talk about him. You talk about Evan Carter. How is this dude 21 years old? Spores out of the bullpen. Lots of different guys have come through. Bruce Bochy at the forefront. How do you not talk about him and what he's done and the culture change and the culture setting that he has done with this franchise since the day he walked in? Should not be a secret to anybody who's ever covered or watched Bruce Bochy-led teams to see what they have done this quickly. But in this game tonight, Jordan Montgomery and that performance, that stood out to me. That's legendary that is the iconic stuff. Dude, never buying a drink again in Texas, at least that part, ever. Ever. I mean, fantastic. And on the other side, look, Astros had some issues tonight, and some of it was a lack of urgency. France was in way too long. You can't be pitching to Garcia in a first spot where you could have loaded the bases to set up the double play. You probably lose the game anyway, yeah, but game much more so in the balance during those spots. And to give more of a leash to France, and he gave to Javier at the front of the game, I'm not sure I understand that. I love Dusty as much as anybody, but I don't get it. Is it why they lost? It's not why they lost. But I don't understand that. And that's when the game was tight. But at the end of the day, the Rangers were not to be denied tonight. You could tell that by the way they played, by the way they pitched, by the way they hit. And their confidence level, after what happened at the end of the season, losing a division, and seemingly having that story be told that they had blown it, and they almost blew completely getting in the postseason, and the Astros just had their number, and they were just better than they are, and all those sorts of things. Then to jump on top 2-0, and to have the Astros again seemingly little brother them, hey, we'll go into your house. We're going to go beat you 3 times, and we're going to go home, and we're going to take this thing, and we're going now to another World Series, and we're going to continue this dynasty and go back-to-back. And the Rangers weren't having any of it. And the Rangers stepped up, and they deserve a ton of credit. From Chris Young, then to Bruce Bochy, To everybody in that franchise, in that organization, kudos and congratulations. They deserve a ton of credit. Say this about the Astros, which a lot of people don't want to hear. They should be respected, and they should be categorized as a dynasty. Did they win 5 World Series in the last 7 years? They did not. Do you not like how they got into and won one? I understand. But when you can get, as a franchise and an organization, to 7 consecutive LCSs, which is 7 postseasons in a row, people, is crazy. That streak alone in this sport is nuts. It's not the NCAA tournament. There aren't that many teams. It's hard to do. You get to 7 postseasons, that's a big deal. But to get to 7 LCSs in a row, and to be able to do that, and when you're led by guys who you may not want to hear it, like Altuve, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest second basemen of all time, bar none, forget just great postseason player, great player, Hall of Fame player. The trajectory of the Bregman career, what he's done in the postseason, what the Verlanders have done, Dusty at the helm in this case the last couple of years, how do you not tip your cap? Sorry, may not want to do it. You hate him. You want to worry about trash cans and all that stuff from years ago. Go right ahead and do it. I get people still salty. I understand you're salty in LA. I get you're salty in New York. I understand. But credit where it's due, credit where it's deserved to this Astros franchise for a hell of a run in what they've done. And I don't think they're going to be bad necessarily next year, clearly either. But you have to give them a massive, massive amount of credit for what they've done. And you saw even in the way that down 8, they battled in the 9th inning trying to kind of come back tonight. The fight that's in this team, you saw it when they were down 2-0 and all the home losses, which clearly is a problem. But going back on the road and going beat Texas, a team that had such a run of confidence, and winning those 3 games the way they did, you got to give them just an unbelievable amount of credit. Kudos and congratulations to Dusty and his staff and that Astros organization for another great season, just short trying to get a repeat. Just short. For the Texas Rangers, they're going to be tough. It'll be a tough out. They're going to be a tough out because they got a lot of confidence. They're going to be a tough out because they've got a lot of frontline pitching that hasn't gotten enough credit. Ironically, for a team that has DeGrom but can't use him, and a Scherzer who's not necessarily completely healthy and full throttle, but to have Eovaldi the way that he has pitched and the big-time pitcher that he's become in postseasons, to have Jordan Montgomery and what you saw again from him tonight and what he's become now in big spots, Scherzer a little bit more comfortable each time. They got more than enough pitching. Question is going to be in the bullpen because, you know, the Phillies and the Rangers, if that's the matchup, between Kimbrel on the Phillies side, the Rangers bullpen, I mean, who the hell knows? Especially you get these 2 teams and that offense is in Philadelphia. You might have 12 to 10 baseball games. Who the hell knows how that's going to be? It could be very exciting. A lot of fireworks, maybe not a lot of outs late in games. A lot of credit to the Rangers. They're going to be a tough out. And Garcia, I mean, stay hot, my God. That guy probably doesn't want there to be any days off. He's looking forward to a game 8 because right now in the box, that dude's nasty. Nasty. Quickly on the National League side, you know, Merrill Kelly, give him a ton of credit. Brilliant in this performance in Game 6. Tommy Pham get back in the lineup. Torey Lovullo pushes the right buttons. He hits the home run. Help between the back-to-back with him and Gurriel to set the trend early. Aaron Nola hung that one to Pham. Made a couple of bad pitches that got him into trouble. Ends up giving up, 4 runs, I think it was, over 6. Could be his last start as a Philadelphia Philly. Phillies lose their first game at home in the postseason after winning 6 in a row. And now it sets up a Game 7 with the Diamondbacks that just have no give up in them whatsoever. And the Philadelphia Phillies, who have absolutely shown they can turn pages. Alec Thomas, we're in the pool. All of a sudden, it's all Arizona. Zach Wheeler on the mound. Boom. Couple of big hits. Home runs from Schwarber, Harper. And there you go. They're back to another win. Now they're going to try and do it again. Fought on one side, who's coming up that 9 strikeout performance where he was absolutely brilliant. And as a kid, we're talking about legendary kind of stuff. And Ranger Suarez on the other side, who had to write these numbers down. 8 career postseason games for Ranger Suarez. He's 3-0 with a 0.94 ERA, 28 and 2/3 innings, 26 strikeouts, and a .84 whip. 3-0, 0.94 ERA, 28 and 2/3 innings, 26 Ks, and a .84 whip. That dude has been filth in the postseason. He has no nerves, ice in his veins, comes out of bullpens for 3 innings, makes spot starts when he's not supposed to, and he will not be afraid in a Game 7. But the player to watch in this game is not either starter for either team. It's Bryce Harper. We have seen already in this postseason, and we saw it last postseason, that he's a different animal in terms of the level of star and the star quality he carries. Different relationship with that city. And I expect the Phillies to win Game 7, and I expect the reason to be Bryce Harper. Because that's what he's led us to believe we should expect and can expect. And he's continuously come through since he's come to Philadelphia in those spots. And I fully expect he's going to do it again. I think Harper carries the Phillies in Game 7, but we'll find out whether or not it is the Phillies or the Diamondbacks who get the Rangers in the World Series. Congratulations again to the Astros on a great season and the run that they have had and is still going, because I'm sure another postseason's in their future next year. But this is about the Texas Rangers. It's about the culture setting and the change implemented by Bruce Bochy and his staff. It's about stars becoming stars and stepping up like Garcia. Guys who have always been talked about like they can't be the aces who have become aces like Eovaldi and Montgomery. And a city that may be a football city, but right now, baseball town. Congrats to the Texas Rangers. Good luck to the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. We'll see you next time.